All right, everybody, we're live. I don't see nobody in here yet. They be bullshit sometimes. Let's see. Let me change the way the screen is. Okay, there we go. A little visual. What's up, everybody? I am your girl, Diva Nicole. I am here with my sister and friend, Grammy-nominated songwriter and singer Ray Louise. And we're just gonna, this is informal. You see, I got the Savage Fenty PJs on, but an upcoming show. Think it now.
Say that again. You broke.
Okay, we back.
There we go.
Okay. So she's working on new music. She got in this new music. Some. How you been?
Good. I'm getting for a show that's coming November 30th. That's a celebration for the 1 year anniversary of the last project I just put out, 2 EP. And I've been working on my new album and getting that together. And I've just, relocated. I'm back down south now. So I am, just feet to the pavement. I've been working. How about you? You good, girl?
Hey, I'm I'm trying to survive COVID. I mean, my industry is your industry, but you don't actively work in it. But uh, COVID has did some things to this beauty industry, so
Yeah.
uh, let's try to reinvent the hustle and find other things. So
That's what we got to do. Keep it moving.
yeah. So how does it feel about like your project turning one? Because I know from just our talks, like that last project was really special to you. It's because it was a sequence to back, a sequel. Yeah.
The last project, having an anniversary for it, it's been actually pretty crazy because, like, with the quarantine and the COVID, everything, like at the top of the year when COVID hit, I was on tour touring projects. So it was like just the craziest thing. I was in a space where I was just like, okay, you know how some people, get tired of things quick. It was kind of like one of those things where you never know where people are going to take your project after you get to that point of not being able to really work it like you want to. So I'm just thankful and I'm grateful that people have still been listening and still been keeping the project alive. I think we're at over 500,000 streams across all platforms with the whole project. So that's crazy, crazy to me. And I'm just excited because it's been a long journey for me in this music industry. So it's it's an honor for me to still be doing this and to still be getting that type of love and reception. Also to still get excited about creating music and doing music and performing this music. So yeah.
I I wanted to say something about that. Like, I mean, like just really give you your props because you like even underground like independent artists tend to have somebody with them and you're like out here really doing everything on your own and you're doing numbers like what no matter what like you have the proof you're doing numbers and you're doing it by yourself so that's a lot that can be said because I mean like I've said and watched you do like your lay down your own tracks and work on these things yourself. just just us chilling. So I know that you work hard and you do this stuff all by yourself.
Like I really appreciate that because it's been a long journey as far as me being independent and having, you know, this whole process of just having to go through stuff to get this music to people like time after time after time. But you know, now thankfully I'm not as alone anymore. I have a manager now and I'm just trying to keep the ball rolling and get that stuff moving. But for a while, for like 2, maybe 3 years straight, it was just me working and getting this music out to these people and trying to find a way or make one, like literally. Because to me, because I love what I do and because I love my supporters and I love being able to feed the people with music, like it's just it's become a I've become a machine of sorts, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I am like a one stop shop. Like I do my own hair, I do my own makeup for the cover shoots, I do the music, I do production, I do the songwriting. So it's like every time like I do something new, it's like I'm trying to use my resources to the best of my abilities and outsource when I can and if I can, which is why like, I bring you in sometimes on the hair side. I'll be bringing, people like Brandon, who I saw is on here and on the hair side. Like I bring in my friend Tim for photography. He helps me with my covers and he also helped me with tracking out my projects. So I get help when I can from people who are in my closer circles and everything like that. But it's really been a uphill battle or journey, I should say, just being independent and making it work. And thankfully, because of my consistency and drive and willingness to keep creating this product and content, I've been able to sustain myself and sustain my listeners and grow my fan base organically. So it's a pretty cool process.
Yeah. Um, like I said, I've physically been around to watch you do a lot of these things. So I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think one thing that can be said is like you, regardless of like where some people may not hear your name like making noise like a Summer Walker or something yet, but we know, me and you know,
No,
but
I'm just
still. I,
no.
but
Yeah, like my name.
your name is out here. You have made those connections. Like you got the connections with these super producers, Ao and Keys. Like there's people well known in the industry, like music, that you actually like you collaborated on his album with him. So there are people that recognize your talent. So I'm happy that like you haven't let like the ups and downs like cause you to give up on the craft, because it's something that you're truly passionate about. And for me to see you, even if it's not on a large scale, but to yet we for me to see you be able to literally make a living and like pay your bills just doing what you love, like what you really set out to do, like that's amazing to me. And there's a lot of people that can't say that. Everything it ends up being like a side hustle that you may or may not end up being successful in for to become your main thing. So that it's amazing to me to watch you put in all this hard work and actually literally eat off of it.
I appreciate that. I mean, I give all credit and thanks to God because the Lord has been sustaining me through my faith and through my belief in Him. And also, I'm thankful because I guess the reason I'm able to do what I'm able to do is because somewhere along the way I kind of lost my fear of failing. Like, I'm not afraid to take a leap of faith and just go for something, because I believe that I'm all about instincts. And if I feel it, and if I feel like change needs to happen in order for me to get to that level, I don't care who feel any type of way about it. I'm going to take that leap of faith and I'm going to jump when God says go, because I've just always been the person to listen to his voice over my own, because at the end of the day, I've realized that he's the one running the show and I ain't got nothing to do with this. Because every single time I done tried to stop music or run from music or quit, God be like, come back here, Nick. Like,
Hey, they, hey, big G always get what he want.
and is.
It's like it's really no way around it. He always gonna get what he want. But um, yeah, your faith is definitely a big one. Um, and I honestly, I like you said, like getting over your fear of failing. I feel that because a lot of times people will not, and I mean even myself personally, it's a lot of things that we are capable of doing, but we won't jump out there because we're afraid of losing this some security blanket that we think we have. And I think honestly, I think in a way COVID has, even with the the bad parts of it, can't think of like another word right now, but even with the bad parts of it, I think COVID has really been a blessing to people in that sense, because it's allowed you to see what happens when you don't have that job, what happens when you can't do this. So now that you know what happens when you can't do XYZ, now what's holding you back from something else?
Right. I mean, I feel like COVID pulled the rug up from under a lot of folks, because it's like, what do you do when you can no longer do anything that you were able? And being in that space of what ifs and how do I create a beginning from where I'm at now? And how do I create, a space for myself and for my art and for what I'm doing without it, being unsuccessful? Like, you just get out there and try. Honestly, you learn through trial and error. You get on, you do a visual, do a show, do a podcast, do what you feel works in that moment to get whatever you have to say out there to those people, because you can't touch them no more. You
Yeah,
people, and now that you can't touch people, you have to figure out a way to reach without reaching.
yeah,
And you got to be not afraid of falling on your face, because you might try something and you might fall on your face, but you gonna fall however many inches tall you are in the right direction.
yeah.
Because I don't believe in wins and losses. Either you win or you learn.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So I guess this, for me, it's just all about persevering and keeping going. And that's been like the whole theme of like my career, just keeping going. Like, for me, every time anybody in this industry has told me no, or has said something to me that, was supposed to deter me off of my path, I took it and I used it as fire. I took it and I proved people wrong. Like, I've literally been around long enough to see the skeptics be turned into believers. So it's all about just keeping it moving and trying different stuff. Even if you feel like it's crazy. Like when I did Nostalgia 1990X, like there was no other artist outside of Bruno Mars who had done anything that was New Jack Swing. Like that was there was no other artists who were brave enough to try it and execute it. And me personally, I executed it, and despite how it may have been, received in certain ways because certain people didn't feel like I should have been doing that type of music, like Teddy Riley himself heard my record and wanted to give it to Keith Sweat.
Hey.
If the man who freaking created New Jack Swing basically wanted to sell my record to one of his artists, like, that's as good as an approval as any. Like,
Your shit, Ray. Talk your shit.
no, but seriously, and it all happened because I wasn't afraid to take that chance and do that 90s music for that album, to do Nostalgia 1990X, because if I would not have put that out, I would have never had that encounter. That would have never even happened.
And like, I mean, I remember you telling me like in school that, you know, people didn't want that vibe from you. And like, I mean, the app, all your stuff is fire. All everything's fire. But the app as a whole was fire. But till this day, like my favorite is always going to show. But it's like there were people. I'm not saying go to do that, but there were people that saw and saw you going in a certain direction because they tried to stand in the way of that. But hey, you cannot stop what God has for somebody. So you know you had to reinvent and go around another way. Like, oh, that's a roadblock. Let me swerve to the left. I'm gonna kick my foot. I'm gonna kick my way through this damn door. So, and you did it, and it reached the ears of the inventor.
And you know what the crazy thing is? I got a lot of, I still to this day, like whenever I put out a post or anything, and I'm like, what's your favorite project, or what's your favorite, whatever from me, everybody's like, DM me and back, or DM me and two. Like, they skip straight over nostalgia. Like, excuse me, we're trying to
They
get wrong.
they don't realize how much of a how great of a work of art that they're looking over, and be
But
honest.
hey, though, and here's the reason why it's okay, because having an album like that in my repertoire is, it means a lot to me. Number one, because that was the type of music I wanted to make my entire life. Like, I grew up and my favorite kind of music was New Jack Swing, Janet Jackson, Bobby Brown, New Edition, High Five, like everything, everybody who was in that New Jack Swing era who had bangers out, like, that was my favorite type of music to listen to when I was getting into the nitty gritty of what I wanted my sound to be. So I always set out that one day I was going to do a project like that. But with me already having that out there, like, I forever have a closer for my show. I forever have I forever have records in my repertoire that I can bring out at any point in time on stage, and I can light it up because the energy of that music in that New Jack Swing era, I was able to capture that energy and I was able to put it and bottle it in that song. Now, every time I go somewhere, I can't close a show without doing Only If You're Ready. So it's like, I mean,
Hey,
I kind of forced people to love it because every show that I did after Nostalgia came out, I performed Only If You're Ready, probably maybe like 100 sometimes. So
Yo, that goes like every time every show I've been at, it always goes. And we might get out there, we do a little electric slide a little bit, but it's I think 1990X for you, and this is coming off of me just recently, like listening to her autobiography. 1990X for you was kind of like Charm Bracelet for Mariah Carey.
that is so funny that you said that because like I love Mariah and I I study her and it's like continue about Charm Bracelet because educate the children.
Like, Charm Bracelet was such an important album for her because it was coming back off of Glitter, and it was, coming out of that horrible marriage and getting out of the marriage but being stuck in the contract still, and then she just got to do her on that album. Like, everybody said she was going to be just the queen of they were trying to say she was the queen of the 90s, and that was going to be it. She got to do her, and then it didn't do like numbers, like astronomical numbers like the rest of her stuff, but it was something that she was proud of making because she got to do it the way she wanted to do it, regardless of what any naysayer had to say, you know. And she, like, her and a lot of her core fans, still actually vibe with Charm Bracelet, regardless of the numbers. So, like, it may not have been that commercial success, but it was a success for her
Yeah.
because it was her baby. And she
And
got into it.
what people don't understand about when you're making an album and you're at the end of any contract with anything, you know how you go through high school for 4 years and you catch senioritis when you on your way out? That's what kicks in. And that's what kicked in when I was doing Nostalgia because I was legitimately that was the last obligation in my contract before my contract was up with my independent situation that I went through. Like I had a 2 project, you know, working deal and that was my last project and I just said that I'm just going to do it. I don't care who, feels some type of way about it. I'm just going to do it. And I did it and I took my time with that. That was my first time ever tracking out tracks for myself on a project. So I tracking engineered half of that project. It was recorded in so many different studios in so many different places. And it was just like, I don't ever think I remember working that hard on something like for a grip. I worked extremely hard on Nostalgia 1990X. I remember us starting that when I was working with music on Music's album. And that was in January. No, yeah, that was in January going into February when I started hair school.
So
That
you started 1998, basically when DM Me dropped.
before DME got out, I started the sessions for 1990X because it was getting ready to drop. I remember that very fondly because I played the music for music while we were working on his album.
That's that now, for people who don't know what hair school was like for us, and especially working on the weekend schedule side. People don't know what that was like for us, but to do that, because that was really a full-time job in itself. We were doing 30 hours a week, and we were doing 10 plus hour days.
Mm-hmm. And taking.
Yeah, and that's just basic. That's not if you had to make up any time. It's basic 30-hour 30-hour weeks and 10 plus hour days.
Mm-hmm.
And you were doing that, working with music on his album,
Mm-hmm.
and working on 1990X.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing, none of those three things you had going on slacked off, not one bit.
I just like that whole process for me was a lot in itself because hair school was a doozy, like Danny just said. And I remember coming into hair school, and I remember when I had to start taking time off to start doing shows. And that started cutting into my scheduling. So what people aren't realizing is by the time the end of the school year came, the amount of hours that I was making up before I graduated because I was performing and doing shows, doing studio sessions, going out of town for label meetings. Like, boy, I shed the biggest tear when I graduated because I never wanted to see that place ever again. Ever. I lived in there for like 4 weeks.
Man, that was a lot.
Listen, it was it was a lot, but it was a great learning experience. I'll say that. It was a great learning experience, and was so- it was also a good discipline exercise, I should say, for me, because you never know how good you are at multitasking until you multitask.
Yeah. Um that definitely did it. Like, and like people really have to understand how we were on the floor. Like they like it'd be a lot of times where it would be something that I'd be like, hey, I'll go finish this cut up for you if you go ahead and get my next client shampooed. And like we are running a whole like operation that we were breaking rules to do because we were just trying to get people out of there and not have people sitting because we were like covering for, like, we would be the one that had to come in after the storm. So now all the people that was canceled for throughout the week, plus who we would have normally got on the weekend anyways, we got triple, double, triple the clients. Just and like we're doing all this in school.
In
Like
school, still
that
have to go home and do stuff, and people had lives and kids and all
us jobs.
on. Like, being at hair school was a full-time job, for real, for real. But it was a very rewarding experience because it taught me a lot about time management. It taught me a lot about teamwork. It taught me a lot about, being able to, it taught me a lot about being able to be clear about your vision and to execute your vision. Because a lot of times you have clients who come in and they don't know what they want. And you do their hair, and sometimes it's still not what they wanted. But then you have other clients who come in fully prepared, pictures and everything. I want it just like this. I want this color like this, and I want this like this. Because when you come in, when your vision is executed, it makes the service go faster.
Yeah.
So I take that approach and I use that with everything that I do, all the way down to my music. When I go and I do my studio sessions, even right now, I'm in the process of recording my new album. But before I even get to the studio, all of my songs are written. All of the production for my songs are done. I've already done full entire demos of how I want the song to sound after I finish it in the studio. So I go in with already being prepared and already having my vision clear cut, because it saves you time and money, especially if you paying for sessions. So life
I,
lesson.
I already know that part to get expensive because yeah, the this podcasting thing, I tried to do it before with the studio and stuff. You had to fit because you felt like that's what you needed to do to go up against the other people, and then COVID hit, and now you're like, let me whip out my webcam too, like, cause I ain't got $100-$200 an hour. I ain't got it right now, and these the people that do got it, they doing it. So
Hey, make it happen from the crib.
yes,
But yeah, I feel like I learned a lot being in hair school, even though I don't, you know, do hair as often as I used to. I still use my skills a lot, and I still, carry that knowledge with me and those lessons that I learned with me. So it garnered me to be, well, it it was a healthy experience, and it was able to, provide me with a lot of insight and a lot of new friends like
like
you.
we wouldn't have even been cool with it if it wasn't for hair school.
Right. Shoot, it's a lot.
And
Wow.
and not even like, oh no, like beef or nothing like that. We didn't even start out as cool. It's just, you know,
But sometimes it be like,
we were a lot alike and didn't realize it. And I think that's kind of why we weren't just quite clicking, because we weren't realizing that we were really like the same person, just a little bit apart.
but it worked out for us in the end.
Yeah, because hey, we 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 made a real friendship, and not some the fake stuff we saw, um allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hmm.
But yeah.
I am happy for you. Go ahead and tell the people about the show.
Well, on November 30th, it's going to be a live show on Instagram and on Facebook, live streaming. I'm doing a show. I'm performing the entire 2 EP live for the I think this is the first time I've ever done all of the songs from the project too. So this is my first time performing the entire thing live, and it's gonna be all gas, no breaks.
Okay.
And I'm super excited. I'll be updating people in the next couple of days with the time and everything, that everything is going to be streamed. I'll have links for everybody to share with their people pretty soon, actually. And yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun show. The arrangements are great. And this is like the first time in a long time that I'm doing a show with a full band and singers. So, like a thing.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for people to see what we came up with and what we have in store, because we put together a really, really cool show, and I think people are gonna vibe with what we have going on. So November 30th, tune in on Instagram at Ray Louise, on Facebook at Ray Louise, and I'm gonna be posting the links on my Twitter and everything else at OG Ray Louise. But yes, stay updated with me, stay in tune with me via those platforms for more information and updates about the show because it's happening on Monday. Monday.
Monday. That's like a couple days away. I mean, like after this weekend is over, that's the show. So,
That's right.
I, like, I'm gonna say this in the words of Prince: when she's on stage, her mic is on.
My mic do be on, but still. That's funny.
Hey, I been he ain't tell no lies with that though, because it be some people they might don't be on.
I mean, I'm not one of those people. So praise the Lord. You're going to be getting live vocals from me on Monday.
Is there anything else that you want the people to know? Uh,
Um, I would say be on the lookout for my new vibes. They'll be coming out next year, 2021. It's looking like end of first quarter, beginning of second. So, it's coming soon. I just want everything to be right and for everybody to receive it the right way, which is why I'm kind of taking my time with it. So, I'm
hopefully, come by the time you finish, like you'll be able to actually tour again and actually get to the people.
Listen, prayerfully, because I would love to tour. I'm the stage so bad, so bad, which is why I'm about to have so much fun doing the show on Monday because, whew, it's been a long time. I haven't been on stage for a minute, so I'm excited to get back up there, and I'm excited to get back up there when the people are outside. Jesus, please let us outside, Lord. Like, this COVID is messing up people's lives.
But yeah, it really is. It really
Like,
is.
I cannot. I need the Lord to open up the outdoors again. ASAPington.
Hey, but at least you found a workaround, and we gonna and we're gonna have to pass the collection plate or something since you ain't. I mean, ain't no tickets and nothing. So or is it like
My cash app will be up there like during the show and everything for people who want to donate and everything like that. If everybody send me a cute little $2, that'd be nice.
I, I'm gonna make sure we're gonna put that out. We need to put the promo out with that. Like
But
$2 for two.
two for two.
2 for 2. This 4 for 4. This is 2 for 2.
Lord. But yeah, I'm super excited. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you for being here.
No problem.
All right. Well, you guys, you heard it here. Monday on Instagram, live streaming, live band, live vocals, live everything. Make sure you tune in. Do not miss it. And again, thank you for coming on the show. And I will talk to you next time.
See you next time.